So ski. If you've been on the channel for any amount of time at this point, you probably think, I need Jesus, or at the very least, to touch some grass follicles. And that is what I'm here to do today. I'm probably, arguably, the best Final Fantasy speedrunner this side of the Norway River, and I will use my powers to figure out how quickly one can touch grass in every Final Fantasy XIV expansion, including A Realm Reborn. As you can see, I have a timer running, but only use it as a reference because I wasn't too good at, well, pressing it. But I did calculate the final accurate time for each run. I split A Realm Reborn into 3 separate runs for the 3 city states because one of them is not like the others. And each city is essentially a completely different game for our specific scenario. Plus, it's more fun this way. Ul'dah is our first destination. Our biggest optimization was the choice of starting class. Gladiator is located in the province of East Zimbabwe, so we just pass on that one. Leaving Thaumaturge and Pugilist. I went for Pugilist hoping that it takes me outside through one of these 2 exits, and it thankfully did. So as far as I know, this should be the fastest pathing to get outside and touch some grass. There's really nothing much else to talk about this run because as soon as you get your quest, you can just ignore everything and start running. So the final time it's showing is 3 minutes and let's say 33 seconds, but in reality the final time is 3 minutes and 4 seconds, and probably some milliseconds, I forgot, okay? I don't know what would be the perfect rule set, but I decided to take out any loading screens that were longer than like a second, because they just aren't consistent. I can't really control them from things like, you know, internet gap, etc. And I'm pretty sure all speedrunners always take them out anyway. I did keep any unskippable cutscenes in, and the time it took to press the skip button because that's actually part of the game and I'm actually technically playing it, I would say. As I said previously, I am a pro speedrunner, not a pro jeep gunner. Let me live. Next up is the Limsa Minsa. This was technically the first real run I did, and my first run may have been... yeah. As you can see, I may have did a little oopsie with my everything. Run 2 is where we actually start playing the game. We have to pick up this side quest before we can leave, and then I actually start picking up stuff for the side quest. Looking back on it now, I didn't need to do that, so I probably could have saved about a minute overall from this and like a few other things. In terms of starting class, I chose Arcanist, but I'm almost certain Marauder is faster as you can attune to the Aetheryte and then TP back after getting your class quest, then exit right next to the crystal, while the path I took makes me find a way up and walk through half the city to get out. There is a more efficient way than I did it, but still I think Marauder should be faster. Final time 5 minutes and 29 seconds with an asterisk. Could be like probably like a minute faster, most likely, maybe even more. And now what we've all been waiting for, Gridania. Yep, exhilarating gameplay. Kinda unfair getting to spawn on top of grass, but hey, the game's the game. Now I'll switch over to my main and new game plus some expansion starting with Heaven's Ward. And before you say anything, no, obviously I can't just start the expansion then go to Gridania and boom, touch grass. For each expansion it has to be grass from an expansion original area, or else this will just be kinda boring, right? I start my timer as soon as I begin the first quest of the expansion and begin to tell you more information for your neuro-audiophilical pleasure. Obviously, as I am not in Heaven's Ward, I have access to jobs which came after Heaven's Ward and at a higher level, like Dancer. So there should really be 2 different categories, Faithful and just grass touching any % speedrun. Faithful would mean not using any jobs or actions that you wouldn't be able to access during this point in the expansion. Or the any % where you can do whatever, use whatever, like, I don't care, man. I'm doing the any % because I want to touch grass as fast as possible. Lord above me knows I fucking need it. Also, the speed difference would be honestly kinda minuscule between both, but I feel like I just had to mention it. You feel me? Back to the run at hand. We skip through some cutscenes, fly to the bridge, and as soon as we are in Ishgard, just ignore the quest and run straight for this patch of grass. It may be a little frozen, maybe not too alive of a grass patch, but it's still a grass patch, so it counts. Storm of Blood. We start the quest, skip the cutscenes and TP to Gridania. Gridania has plenty of grass, but it's not a Stormblood area, even though the game kind of forces you to come here for the spirit of the challenge. Let's touch some Stormblood original grass. Exhaust more dialogue, skip more cutscenes and you're in Castrum Oriens. To your left you see a patch of grass. Go touch my child like you would touch a child. Final time for Stormblood is 48 seconds 4 milliseconds while abusing dashes, but I still had weighted clothing on, which is my stupid ass brain, so it probably evens out. Womb brings shadow, womb brings the grass. Starting off in our Mordona hideout once again, we start a dubious chain of cutscenes which we, well, skip. And then fly to this lad who takes us to Mr. Taro of the Taro Dynasty. And you guessed it, she gives us even more cutscenes to skip. And then we kind of spawn on top of something which could be considered grass, maybe. But I went to the nearest bit of actual 144p polygon grass, which netted me a final time of 56 seconds and 27 milliseconds. But I feel like this run could be shaven off a decent bit more if you don't have old man hands such as myself and you can execute these complex mechanical gaming feats. And now we speed walk to the end. Same old Mordona into cutscene Boogaloo into TP to Limsa. Having it be your return destination on your bar speeds this up a little bit. Into TP to Arcanus Guild, into talking to Mr. Taro of the Taro Dynasty. Then just skip 72 more cutscenes until you end up ashore on the concretes of Old Charlian. Then just follow this path up the stairs to reach what I think is the closest patch of grass. That's it. Final time 51 seconds and 26 milliseconds. Take all these times that you see on screen with a bit of a grain of salt because these are for sure not optimized runs, but it does give a decent idea of how things play out. Only thing I have to say is that an optimized Shadowbringers would be faster than an optimized Endwalker because I kind of messed up a decent bit in the Shadowbringers so it looks longer, but it should be faster, I think, theoretically. Limsa has by far the most actual optimizations you can make and could be an actual interesting speedrun to do because of all the pathing choices you pretty much get. You probably have to do some mathematics to figure out what's the fastest way out, and that's pretty fun. Now, looking at all these times, who could have guessed that Limsa of all places has the hardest time touching grass? Some things just make sense in the world. And of course, the home of the world famous Balmung quicksand is a close second. This shit just writes itself. Also, I'm disqualifying Gridania because I can. Fuck you, Gridania. I'll burn all your vegetation down and then let's see who gets a 7-second touching grass speedrun then. Listen. Educational YouTuber man strikes once again with more educational content. What you do with this education is up to you. I suggest touching some grass, but hell, what do I know? Well, I do know the quadratic equation, which is something I guess. Anyway, you subscribe or watch another video or something, I don't know. Do whatever honestly, and I'll go and touch some real grass now. See you on the other side, my many pronoun encompassing Hydra. This shit fucking sucks.